Hey everybody, Paul here with PTZ Optics, and I am coming to you from Reston, Virginia, where I'm at Be in Court, our courtroom audiovisual system that I cannot wait to show you. Come over and meet Greg Fagner. Greg, how are you?
Good to see you, Paul.
And his team, Philip and Chris, are here as well. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hey guys, I'm Philip Kaiser, CTO at Be in Court. Really excited to be with you today.
And Chris Vance, senior architect engineer, as well. Excited to show you what we got going on.
And I'm Greg Fechner. I'm the VP of Business Development for Be in Court.
So Greg, why don't you tell us a little bit about your role here and a little bit about Be in Court?
Yeah, so I've been with Be in Court for about a year, and my role is to help courts find courtroom technology solutions, right, that are in person or in a hybrid environment. So we built out this facility, we call it our Courtroom Experience Center. And this facility is designated to help our court clients, understand our commitment to the market, right? Building out a facility, a mock courtroom environment where they can actually see and put their hands on the technology that may go into their facility. But also doing it, rather than doing it just live, we also have them participate in a hybrid fashion because that's the way courts are operating today.
We're going to walk you through all of the technology here. Kevin's showing a Studio Pro that's used for different areas of the court. We've got a PTZ camera. There's Zoom. We're going to dig into all of this with you guys. So feel free to ask questions in the chat. This is an exciting space. But why don't you start by walking us through this multi-camera solution? What are the cameras used for, and how is it benefiting the court?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Philip, I'll let you field this one, and we'll...
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. So in this Courtroom Experience Center, we've got 3 cameras. Currently, they are focused on the judge and the witness, typically. And then we have a camera that is also focused on each of the other counsel tables. Most of our courts are going to need a minimum of 3 cameras to give that type of view. As some of our courtrooms and judicial systems out west require a minimum 4 cameras, one on each of respondents, as well as each of the counsel tables. Those cameras are typically fixed, or they could be set up with a Zoom preset or even a PTZ preset, where we're focusing on a unique space or place in the courtroom. But most of the time they are fixed where they need to be so that they get a consistent recording every time.
Really incredible. So what we're seeing here is a live Zoom call. We're bringing in Chris and Phil. Obviously, I'm sure you guys bring in other people during the court systems, but you've also got a 3-camera setup in Zoom, which I'm sure you can spotlight, pin, full screen,
Absolutely.
things of that nature. So how are you ensuring high-definition audio and video for all participants? Because we have people in person, and then we also have people who are virtual. Can you kind of walk us through how you're doing that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I sure can. Yeah, yes, I'll take that one. Quite simply, all of the audio in the courtroom is brought into a digital signal processor, as well as any collaboration suite. We bring that in digitally as well into the same DSP. But that digital signal processor is then performing a mix, it's performing an EQ, it's also taking a look at echo cancellation technology and feedback loop detection to ensure that all parties are getting a great audio experience. We do a lot of work in tuning out that room and making sure that all of that audio is clean and clear, as well as all the levels on Zoom or Teams or WebEx. So
beautiful. Now, I'd love to get into this touchscreen here. This is just designed specifically for courtrooms. Chris, I understand you are one of the programmers behind this. Why don't you walk us through this really cool touchscreen here?
So this user interface was derived over a committee of judges that the company got early on that went over the iconography, went over the functions, and what came out of that committee was this interface that we see on the screen. What we see is a list of main functions at the top, all oriented around functions that the court needs in the room at any given point in time, and designed to be activated or changed with 1-2 button hits at most, to make it quick and easy to use, very intuitive. Walk up, start, hit buttons, see the room react, with little to no training.
Wow. This is such a cool touchscreen. If I was a judge, this is what I would want in my courtroom. And it's just designed top to bottom. I see you have annotation capabilities. You have the ability to preview things. And Craig, you were explaining to me that sometimes, you don't want to show things to the jury until it's approved by the judge. Is there a system built in for that?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So oftentimes in proceedings, what will happen is an attorney may want to present evidence to the participants, and they need to get approval from the judge to be able to do that, right? So that's where the preview button actually comes in play. So if you'll see at the bench when we get at this, right? We wanted to show a piece of evidence, right? Say we want to go to paramedia. You'll see this screen as you come around. Say perhaps this is the evidence that we want to show, right? Well, the only person that's seeing this evidence right now is the judge.
I see.
The only way for this to be shown on the exterior monitors in the room is if the judge approves it and presses that view all button. So as soon as he or she does that, that proves the evidence to be shown, and it is then released to the court.
But this is just one example of how well thought out the control systems are for courtrooms. I've really been impressed. Instead of starting from scratch, you guys have thought it through with your... Now let's talk a little bit about the audio. We noticed here we're talking to remote guests. Our remote guests are hearing us. You have something called a SoundSphere audio system. Can you explain how this works?
Yeah, I'll take a quick stab at it, and then I'll let Philip chime in. But essentially what SoundSphere is, it's a directed audio source that's built specifically for courtrooms, and we did that is a unit specifically designed for us and built for us for this unique purpose, right? It provides audio capture and a reflection of audio at the station, where audio is king in the courtroom, right? So every courtroom must capture the audio for the record, right? And that record is then put into, is then approved, right? So making sure we capture that is very, very important, and SoundSphere is a big part of that. So Philip, do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, Paul, as Greg said, the audio is king in the courtroom. What's really great about this technology is that it runs on a single Ethernet cable. So it really simplifies cabling in the courtroom. We don't need separate audio cable, separate power cable. It's a PoE switch that is supplying all the power. That really helps to simplify in setting it up. It helps to simplify installing it in older courtrooms, and it really helps to, I think, drop that cost. Because the audio is now local to the user, we don't have to worry about a lot of the acoustics of the room. So things like, I'd say wood or metal or marble, tall ceilings, a lot of that, acoustical energy, it goes away from all the reflections and the echo in the courtroom, and allows us to get a much better and cleaner experience. The users then obviously appreciate that. We've also built in headphone jacks into each of the bases, so we are AV compliant as well. So, being able to also route interpretation mixes into the headphone jacks if we need to. It gives us a lot of flexibility because of that AV audio video bridging technology to route audio anywhere in the courtroom that we need to. So.
Yeah, I'm just putting on these headphones now, and it is nice. Even though I can hear you directly through this speaker, which I see you have multiple of throughout the space, putting on those headphones, sometimes in a busy area, depending on the acoustics, this can be preferred, even especially if someone is a little, not quite as loud of a speaker. Maybe someone's joining via Zoom and doesn't have the best audio. This improves the judge and the jury, everyone's ability to hear what's going on.
one additional function of that is the sidebar, right? So there are oftentimes in a proceeding where a client or two attorneys may want to go into a sidebar to discuss an aspect of the proceeding. They can actually take those headphones, plug it into our SoundSphere device, right, and tune into their specific stations, and they can only hear each other through the headphones, and nobody else in the proceeding can hear that. So it's a very unique aspect of what we do, bringing SoundSphere and the multiple headphone jacks into the solution.
Now let's talk about your video conferencing integration. I know there's Zoom, there's Teams, there's other solutions out there. How does your system integrate with video communication solutions?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll talk a little bit about that just because it's important to understand that post-COVID and the pandemic, a lot of different courts are selecting a lot of different conferencing platforms, right? So being court as a solution, we have a specific focus on being conference platform agnostic, being able to tie into any particular platform that a court uses, but bring this same functionality to that platform. So, Phil, if you want to elaborate as well.
Sure. So, Paul, as Greg said, it's basically a digital connection of the collaboration platform into the audio platform and the video as well. We do have some very tight integration into Zoom. Zoom does allow us to talk to a Zoom room through our software, so we're able to present a customer to judicial a very simplified Zoom interface to be able to mute, unmute audio or video, see if someone is raising up their hand, and then even join a Zoom call or in one, often within our software. We do integrate into Teams and WebEx. There are some limitations as far as cameras and the quantity of cameras on those platforms. However, we do create a matrix of the video in the courtroom and can present that to any of those collaboration suites. So we kind of take the strengths and weaknesses of them all and work around them and build out a solution that I think is going to provide the best possible experience.
Now, when we're talking about Zoom, we're talking about presentation technology. What do you offer for digital evidence presentation?
Yeah, so that's a very important aspect of the courtroom technology, right? Attorneys being able to come in and present their case and be able to show a laptop connection or be able to show a document camera. So on our judge panel, if we go to the presentation tab, you'll see here the sources that they can select from. For example, I have Air Media selected at this point. If I select you all at this point, the slide from the Air Media device is actually showing up. We can also do that with the document camera. I select document camera and view all. We can now then present the image on that document camera. See it?
Audio here.
Yes.
They show. Wow.
In addition to that, say there's during a proceeding, somebody wants to highlight a specific piece of evidence, right? So we have the ability to go into annotation mode that allows for somebody an attorney to point out a specific piece or piece of information that, for example, maybe we're highlighting the FCC ID number on this device, right? And the presenting attorney wants to say, okay, hey, this is the piece of information that I want to share. Well, the defense attorney can then actually say, well, you know what? I actually think that we need to be focusing on this aspect of the right. So each participant within the proceeding has the ability to be able to share that information and give their input and be able to present that to the participants.
So there's multiple touch screens, multiple people can be annotating on the same evidence.
Absolutely.
Wow. That is the first time I've ever seen anything like that. Very incredible. Now, let's talk about accessibility. So, I know that there sometimes are something called limited English proficiency. We do, some types of sign language. Explain to me how you make this more accessible through the technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, being able to account for folks with disabilities or limited English proficiencies is very, very important when we talk about courtroom proceedings. So we have the ability to help those folks, right? And we have it in a mode that we call interpretation. So Chris, I'll actually let you talk a little bit about our interpreter mode.
Yeah, so here we see on this, what Greg's currently presenting from his laptop is you see the three different modes that we can administer through interpretation. The first is consecutive. That's just bidirectional. Everybody can hear and be heard. But the interesting ones are the simultaneous to LAP. From here, it actually creates a private mix for the interpreter devices and the LAP devices that we've enabled in this mode, and allows them to have that duplex audio off the courtroom floor so that it can be removed from business, so those interruptions can be done on the side. So the interpreter will hear everything that's going on in the courtroom. They can communicate that to the LEP's native language, and then also, as if the LEP has any questions for the interpreter, they can speak and the interpreter will hear them, so they can have a bidirectional conversation. And then the simultaneous to court is just the other way around. It's where the interpreter can hear the limited English proficient client speaking in their native language and then communicating that back to the court. So that's how these functions are designed to work.
Yeah,
all that works with the base stations and the headphone jacks.
Yeah, one important feature of that is the simultaneous back to the court. I think it's important to highlight that aspect of the system a little bit, because oftentimes it's important for a judge to be able to hear the LEP speaking in their native tongue whilst the interpreter is interpreting to English, so they know that they're speaking and interpreting at the same time, right? So we present typically a 10 to 15% bleed over of that audio back into the court, so they can hear that native language as well as the interpreter interpreting back, which is a unique feature of the court.
Wow. Now, let's talk about a real-world case study. Some of the customer that's been successful with this. I'm sure you have plenty of those to share. Is there one that comes to mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Be in Court has been very successful in serving our clients. We're actually serving one of the largest circuit courts in the country, currently deploying hundreds of courtrooms with this technology.
Wow. That's incredible. Now, let me guess in my next page. We're rolling along here, guys. This is a really fun live stream. If you got any questions, let us know. The folks like Be in Court are here to answer them. What are some of the emerging trends that you're seeing in courts? Obviously, the world has changed significantly in the past several years. What are you noticing out there?
Absolutely, Paul. So we spoke a little bit about this, off camera, but the evolution of courtroom technology has really advanced over the last 5 years, right? As we all know, pre-pandemic, technology in the courtroom, every proceeding was in person, right? Everybody was forced to go to the courtroom, whether it be for a traffic stop or something more serious. You had to be in person in that building. Then the pandemic hits, right? And everything is shifted to being remote, right? Everybody had to, the courts were forced to adopt technology that allowed for remote proceedings. That is where Be in Court has really strive to help our clients, right? Being able to serve our clients virtually, and so being able to bring into Zoom or the Teams aspect of these proceedings, and saving the courts a lot of time and money, frankly, when you talk about a judge, as an example, doing hearings every morning for those folks that may be in a jail, as opposed to having the sheriff bring people from the jail to his courtroom, on a every half an hour, 45-minute basis. They can now go through these hearings at every 10 minutes by doing it via Zoom or Teams.
That's
so yeah, the technology has really advanced over the last several years, and it's continuing to evolve. Right, we're seeing trends in the market that allow for this technology to be more accessible to those courts that aren't as financially well off as the big courts. Right. We have a lot of small counties and jurisdictions and districts out there that are financially strapped, and they need they need this technology, but aren't able to obtain it. And I think that's where we're seeing a big evolution in the technology. The cost of technology is coming down, and it's allowing for these smaller courts to have the accessibility to provide the technology that they need, or to gain access to the technology that they need. So we're really excited about being able to continue to be innovative and bringing these types of solutions to those folks.
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of that too here at PTZ Optics with our brand new Hive remote camera control solution. And that allows, a lot of courtrooms are managed by an IT or AD manager who has to manage multiple spaces in multiple courtrooms. So in a moment, we're going to be showing you PTZ Optics Hive and the ability to remotely control and manage multiple courtrooms, because obviously, while we're giving the judge so much great control, he or she is not going to become an AV expert overnight, and they rely on their IT managers and AV managers in the larger court systems. So for those of you who are IT managers out there and have to manage multiple spaces across campuses, across buildings, PTZ Optics Hive allows you to remotely manage all of the camera settings, whether you're zooming in, focusing, and things like that. So we'll show you that in a moment. But before we wrap this up, I wanted to go through each station. I feel like you really thought out each of these spaces.
Absolutely.
This is probably the judge area.
No, this is actually the podium.
This is the witness podium.
The witness podium, right? Or the presenting podium, I should say. So we'll actually start over here, right? Okay. So what you might say, as you're coming into the room, right, you'll find two attorney tables. You would say your prosecution and your defense, right?
Got it.
These tables allow for the attorneys to come and their client to sit and be able to connect a laptop to the system and be able to present evidence, right? Or be able to connect their headphones and be able to talk in that private sidebar, as we spoke about earlier, right? If they're actually presenting to the court and all the participants, they would come to the podium, right? The podium allows you the capability of presenting evidence, right? As we talked about, being able to show that document camera and be able to annotate, right, as we showed, right? Being able to present evidence from their phone, right, or from the BYOD device. So what we'll do is I'm going to actually go ahead and disconnect the click share or the wireless presentation there and be able to connect to it from my phone. So what we're going to do is we're quickly going to go to our Wi-Fi settings. We're going to select Air Media, right? That is now selected. Now what I want to do is be able to show this device on the screen. So I'm going to go to share my screen. I'm going to select the Air Media device, and it's going to ask for a code. This code allows for security, so not just anybody can show whatever they want in the courtroom, right? So I hit the code, hit OK, and now what you're going to find here in a moment is my screen is now up on the screen in the courtroom. Now this is a great technology for people using their phone every single day, right? They're capturing images, they're capturing videos, of things, events that are happening. This allows, hey, Your Honor, I want to show a piece of evidence, that was recorded on my phone, and then they'd be able to pull up their phone and be able to show that evidence to the courtroom, right? So that's just one aspect of being able to show evidence. So being able to do it from your computers, being able to do it from your wireless or your personal device, being able to do it from the document camera, like we showed earlier. So all of those functions are done typically here at the podium station, right? As we move over, as we move over to the bench, obviously this is where the judge would sit and run the proceeding, right? So the judge also has the capability of being able to dictate what is being seen on screen, right? So we talked a little bit about that, being able to preview it before that evidence is being shown to all the participants in the proceeding. So this is the home base for the judge. He or she can control all aspects of the proceeding from the bench and from their touchpads. And then finally, we have the witness station. The witness is obviously in a court proceeding, that the judges or the attorneys are asking their questions and the witness is answering those questions. They also have the ability to annotate, right? So we talked about showing that annotation capability. Maybe the attorney says, okay, I think the accident happened here. The witness can then annotate from this touch panel and say, no, I think it happened here. So they have that capability as well.
Wow. All right, guys. Well, we are going to be answering questions in the chat. We are going to be showing you Hive so that you can control the PTZ cameras in here, of course, securely. And we'll be talking about the security features for an application like this. But thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and we will see you in the chat. See you soon.